So the next thing that we're gonna do is set up your value scale so that you can use the pencils to achieve 8 different values. You're gonna need a blank sheet of drawing paper and a ruler in order to do this. You don't wanna set this up too dark, so maybe use your HB or one of your H pencils. Step number 1, take your piece of drawing paper and fold it in half, like a hamburger. We're only gonna use half a sheet of paper, so you can leave it folded like this. This paper is 9 inches wide if you folded it the proper way. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your ruler, you're gonna line your ruler up with the edge of the paper, somewhere near the middle. You'll see it's 9 inches. You are then going to measure in 1/2 inch on each side and then connect those marks so that you have an 8-inch line. We left a little bit of space on each side. Then you're gonna measure out from that line 1 inch on both sides. And then you can connect those 2 points. So if you did this correctly, you should have a very long rectangle that measures 8 inches across by 1 inch tall. This is going to allow you to have 8 boxes or 8 perfect squares. I'm measuring every inch. And I'm gonna use my ruler to make sure these boxes are actually square. Setup counts. If you want your value scale to look really nice, make sure you use the ruler, make sure your measurements are correct. You should end up with something that looks like this. I have 8 squares, a little bit of space on each side. Inside of this scale that I've created, I'm going to practice utilizing my pencils to achieve 8 completely different values. One end will be light, one end will be dark, and I have to find the transition in between. I'm gonna reorganize my pencils from lightest to darkest. I had 2H, H, HB, 4B, 6B, ebony. I have 8 boxes and 6 pencils. That means I'm gonna reuse a couple of pencils, and that's fine, because I'm not actually gonna know what pencils you used. The goal is really for you to practice using them and figure out which ones achieve different values. So you're gonna start with the left box. I'm gonna make this my lightest one. You can make it darkest, it doesn't matter. You can just start at one end. And I'm going to very neatly fill in this box with my lightest pencil, and in my case that's 2H. You want it to be super light so that it almost looks white. And you want to fill the whole box with pencil. Now I'm going to skip all the way across, and I'm going to use my ebony pencil to fill in my box all the way to the right. And because this is gonna be the darkest box that I have, I'm gonna fill it in as dark as I possibly can. I have no more white space showing through. I couldn't possibly have pressed harder. So now I can see what my lightest value looks like and my darkest value. The trick to creating a really successful value scale is to skip back and forth. Don't try filling in each box one next to the other until you get all the way to the end, because either you won't get dark enough or you'll get too dark too fast, and then you'll end up with a bunch of values that look the same. So now that I've done light and then dark, I'm gonna skip back over here. I'm gonna use one of my H pencils to fill in this box slightly darker than the box to its left. This might be the same pencil I used in the first box. It could be a different pencil. It doesn't matter as long as you find a way to achieve a slightly darker value. And the hardest part in the lighter boxes is getting this value to look all one shade throughout the box. Avoid using the blender if you know what a blender is and how to use it. Don't use that yet. We don't want to use that until we've filled in every box. So now I have something that's noticeably darker, but not way darker. And I'm gonna skip back over here. I used my ebony pencil in this box, so now I'm gonna use my 6B pencil in this one. And this one can get just as dark in my opinion, so I'm gonna be careful that I don't make it quite as dark as the last box. All right, so I've gotten pretty dark, but I could still see a difference. So I'm gonna stop there. I still have 4 more boxes and only 2 more pencils. That's okay. Because this HB, the number 2 pencil, you'll probably be able to use that in a lot of these. And we know this is the middle of the value scale, so we definitely wanna use it here. But I'm gonna keep working my way to the center until I've achieved 8 totally different values. And the best way to test is to use your hands and only look at 2 boxes at a time. If they look the same, that means you either need to make one darker or make one a little bit lighter. And once you can proudly say that you have 8 different values, that's when you know you are finished.